Hello, this is going to be a little discourse on RV power cords, 220 volt power cords. You can see my props here. I've got what appears to be a standard RV power cord like all of you carry on your rigs. Here's a 220 volt extension cord. You can see that it's got a female end here. It's got a male end 50 amp plug here. It's probably 30 feet long. Makes handy. You can see your best friend in all connections is dielectric grease, either in a tube or in an aerosol can. Very necessary. You can see that I've got a couple of kinds of plugs. Here's a Chemco plug, which is normally what you find in RV stores and whatever else. These are no, don't put these on your cords unless you absolutely have to. When your cords come in and we find one of these on it, we'll take it off and put on a Hubble cord, which is this cord right here. This is a Hubble, and it's a much better made cord. As you can see, the termination, if you've ever put one of these on, you know that the way that Chemco goes on is a pain. This is much easier. It's got the 4 studs. You just put them on, it lasts much longer. And so if you need a plug, and this is all you have, if you'll text me or email me or call me, I will send you a Hubble plug. They cost about $75 a piece, but they're well worth it. Now, there is a minimum length, there's a maximum length of your RV power cord. Because we're trying to conduct electricity through a length of cable, we have some issues that are working against us. The maximum length of a 220 volt cable rig that you could set up on your trailer would be 140 feet. Never go over 140 feet. Here's the reason why. Here's a little formula. Power, which is watts, equals I amps times V volts. That's a simple formula. If you take the amps and the volts, you multiply them together, it gives you the watts or the power. Now your trailer is going to be, let's say you've got 2 air conditioners and other stuff you're running in your trailer, it's going to pull about 50 amps, maybe 45, 46 amps on a normal day. Summertime, it's going to pull a little more, but let's just say that you're pulling right up around 50 amps. When you're pulling at 50 amps, if you're pulling 50 amps at 240 volts, that's 50 amps, that's 12 kW, that's 12,000 watts. Now, if you're operating at 208 volts, which a lot of times we are in some of these newer churches, they got 208 volts because they're tapping into 3-phase, you're pulling for that same load on your trailer that was 50 amps at 240, now it's 57 amps. 57 amps will blow a 50 amp breaker. 57 amps will heat up your cords. 57 amps will melt your plugs. 57 amps will melt these plugs. 57 amps is not good. So, as you make up your combinations, you need to determine how long is my system. Now you can see that this cord right here has been measured. It is 78 feet long. It's marked. All your cables after next summer will be measured and marked so you know how long your cable is. If you want to take a 78-foot cable and add like a 30-foot cable, you have 108 feet. Then if you add your pigtail on your trailer, which is another 25 feet, then you're up to 78 plus 30 is 108 plus 25 is is 133. So you're right up near the maximum length. Now, if you had 2 cables like this, let's say you had 2 cables that were like 70 feet long, you added them together with your pigtail, you'd be over the line. You'd be too long. And the longer the cable, the greater the line loss, and line loss adds into your amp load. If you're losing power going through your cable it's taking part of your power just to get through the cable. So it's increasing the load, increasing the heat on your plugs, melting stuff down, blowing breakers, etc., etc. So remember, 140 feet max, and that includes your trailer pigtail, the cord that plugs into your trailer and hooks into your cord. Now, if you have connections, let's say that you have several cords with male-female plug situations, even maybe like these, every connection is a possible problem. You've already learned that if you've been out there very long. That's why you go to dielectric grease and you put it in your connector. You spray it or you squeeze it in there out of the tube. Dielectric grease is your best friend because it helps conductivity and it keeps the contacts most time from arcing. Now, these little cables here, this little extension cable, you can find those in RV stores. You think, wow, that's neat. I can just add that to my truck and then I can be 500 feet from the church and plug in, and I can go under that big shade tree over there and it'll be just great. Except if you add too many of these cables in, you get beyond that 140 feet and you're going to go over your amperage load and you're going to melt stuff down. So hopefully this is helpful. I haven't bored you or whatever, but anyway, it's very important, and I may do a follow-up to this later. Thank you.